It will be nice to know where you are joining me from. Good evening once more. If you joining me this evening, I know is an Easter day, and I will say Happy Easter to everyone. And quickly before I start, I would want to pay tribute to my brother, Yinka Odumakin. Okay. If you see here, I've decided that we put up his picture um, rather than our logo because it's a great loss. Not only that Yinka is a friend, he's a comrade, a senior comrade. And when I heard about his death yesterday, early morning, somebody rang me saying, Mazi, do you know this is happening? Your friend is dead. And I've thought, no, which friend? You must be kidding me. And when he said he just died now, and I'm like, freaking hell, what happened? You know, I planned to have a broadcast yesterday. Eventually, I didn't. My broadcast yesterday is purely because I was indeed devastated. We have lost a very formidable ally in the struggle for our liberation, in the struggle for a better uh, entity, in the struggle to be governed as human, in the struggle to be treated fairly, and a man who spoke out when many hide under the bed, a man who stood up when it mattered. I can't say that's enough. I can't say that enough. It's really pierces. Really, it's one of those. The pain, it's really sharp, and I can't say that enough. Honestly, I stopped talking about it because before tears start running down my cheek. I mean, brother, say, may your soul rest in peace. Really, we'll miss you, Yinka Odumakin. We'll miss you. You're a gallant one. You fought the good fight. For many of us, you were an inspiration, myself included, without any exception. Now, this evening, I want to treat something which is if you all remember, there was this video of the CCT channel. I talked briefly about it the last time. The CCT means, for those of you who do not know, is Code of Conduct Tribunal. Code of Conduct Tribunal. So the chairman is Umar Danladi. Umar Danladi first is public relation head to issue a disgraceful statement that was riddled with grammatical errors that a child in primary six cannot make. Yet, someone who had such an important post cannot, in his argument, that statement was written with a mobile phone, and who cares? It was written with a mobile phone. I have drafted press statements and given interview multiple times that some of them impromptu, and you have not researched or read anything, but at least you talk. And the written statements where you write them on the go, on the fly. I know before the COVID time, many times basically on the go, on the fly, you're at the airport, noise everywhere. You draft your statement and that's it. But here is a man who has clearly failed in the primary duty and in the basic thing as regards, common writing. And he compounded his silliness and his idiocy with the comment about Biafran boys. And that brings me to a point. In as much as that is very, very idiotic of him to have done, and Professor Farouk or some people call him Farouk Erogi. Rogi, whom many of you will know, he was a Buhari ally, and he wrote an article that really got me thinking. The reason why I said I will talk about this again, and in his article, Professor Perogi, or Perogi, clearly said that. Let me see if I can actually hop onto Twitter and see if I can get this thread, because it's a very important thread. Now, it brings me back to what Chinua Achebe said, and that's the point I agree with Professor here. Chinua Achebe said that the hatred against the Igbos, and don't make this mistake, because when I say Igbos in this context of this discussion today, it equals this Biafran comment. The Biafran boys in this context of this evening discussion equals Igbo. IGBO, Igbo. And in Chinua Achebe's book, The Trouble with Nigeria, Chinua Achebe clearly states, that there is this unity of purpose amongst all Nigerians against Ndigbo. If two people are fighting, if three people are fighting, the moment Igbo shows up, somehow everybody reconciles against the Igbo. It's an Igbophobia, where the way they do in a xenophobic attack. But one thing I want to drive this evening is, if you so much hate these people with a passion, why don't you let them be on their own, like Singapore, for Christ's sake? You had a war that was not necessary. As I have argued, even the coup of 1966 January that led to eventually to the war was unnecessary, because you do not engage in such coup when you are leading, when you are on top. The coup happened, the program followed, and the war where we lost over 3 million brothers and sisters happened. And after that war, you had what you, by your own definition, you called it 3R: reconstruction, rehabilitation. Yeah? Now we ask you, what did you reconstruct? What did you reintegrate? What did you rebuild? What all the hours you can find in this world? Where and what did you do with it? When I tell people, let's not bring war home, or rather, let's not bring conflict home that leads to destruction. When in the north, for instance, if there is any conflict, all you will hear is that they will touch federal government properties, infrastructures does not belong to them, but a collective infrastructure, and that's what they touch. Many times, also in with what happened in Lagos, you saw that it's only in the southeast or the Igbo nation, whichever nomenclature you choose. Southeast is a geographical expression, whereas the Igbo nation encompasses and goes beyond the southeast. Igbo nation has part of the rivers and has part delta, and as the case may be, Kogi as well. But if you start conflict in your own place of the great Igbo nation, which I consciously and consistently say so, GIN, Great Igbo Nation, what you do have as a result is you have a direct destruction of your own properties. Having said so, I will now say that when you now juxtapose this and come back to this paranoia of Nigerians, of other Nigerians against Ndigbo, a collective noun, Ndigbo. And you begin to understand the context where I'm coming from. I hope that is, that's making sense. So now let me put us through some things here. In context here, Danladi, as the case might be, Danladi is um, the light skin. I call him a man that bleached his skin to his brain because applies bleaching in my worldview, and he's the chairman of Code of Conduct Tribunal. And on the 29th, he was caught on camera assaulting, kicking. Let me actually see if I can. I don't know if I still have the video in one of them groups because at some point I get, the phone is being flooded with a lot of, a lot of messages that it becomes honestly very, very difficult sometimes keep these datas without wiping them out because that's sometimes the only way I can get space in my phone. I wake up every day from various forums, information flying right, left, center. So what am I saying? Okay, before I continue, I would take some of your comments. Okay, I forgot to say Happy Easter. In my sober moment, having lost a brother, a friend, and a comrade in this struggle, Yinko Dumakin, I forgot to say Happy Easter to many of you. And I know this Easter, many of you are at home, and hence I didn't broadcast yesterday. I said, let me do it today. And I'm already having, I think the Germans are here today. I've John Okorie greeting us from Holzkirchen, what they say, Wood Church. Wood Church, if you translate that literally. And again, for many of you watching me, I would want to know where you are watching me from. And again, Sammy Jakes, may the soul of Yinko Dumaki, who is a rare gem, rest in peace. Watching from Manchester, and many of you as well. That's Samuel Otam from Facebook. Emi Sami, I think Emi Sami is the old me one keg of palm wine since last year. And Emi Sami, never think that I have forgotten you and One Nation. I haven't. My keg of palm wine is still there, and I'll get it anytime you come into Nigeria. Ika Laura watching from Chime. Okay. Chime watching me from Canada, Ontario, Canada. Chime, thank you very much for joining me this evening. Chime, they give trouble. Chime now. But it's a very good. Chime is a very good friend. Chime provides me with the best of up wine. Chime, I thank you very much. Ifani, Maz Ifani, good evening. Good morning from Dubai. Oh, yeah. Good morning. I keep that in mind, Ifani. Anytime I come to Dubai, I was actually meant to be in Dubai next week, but I think one or two things cropped up. But that's Thank you everyone. Daniel Argo joining me from Dublin. Woo! This is a platform of diasporans. That's the way it looks like. Now, let me come back to the point here. That comment of Biafran boys comment and from the CCT. Before I get back to the or rather, I'll I think earlier today, Femi Falana made a comment about that, saying that he is liable for 25 years imprisonment, and I will get to that, and that's where we will need your collective effort to see that happens. We must get to a point where anybody who touches you will know that he has touched the tail of a lion. So let's not just be backing people. We must be a people that can take action and and take action and do one or two things. So let me quickly see if I can see the assault video quickly so that some of you who haven't seen it can have context. Oh, thank God here I've seen it. If the technology works, we will be able to view this video together and analyze it so that you see that's what. So while waiting for us to the video is here quickly. Hold on. Okay. So people. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Let me see if this is going to play today, because the other time I tried it, it didn't. Before, okay, I played the video before I play the reactions, because I think some people, including Aisha Yusufu, reacted to that video, because there is no person, there is no human with any iota of gray matter in between the skulls that will watch that video and will not react. Sorry, hold on. Sorry about that. Let me quickly. What's happening here? Okay. Before I do that, let me quickly just play the reaction first while I get the other video. Let me quickly play the reaction from Aisha Yusufu. Then I hope that will play as usual, and I can let that play. Then I will come back. Okay. Yes. Assault. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, he's gonna play now quickly. So let me play Aisha Yusufu's. Then I would come back and analyze. Yeah.
Honestly, you know, when they say somebody is shooked, I am absolutely shooked. I'm not even shocked. It's more than shocked. I am shooked. The chairman of the Code of Conduct Tribunal, Justice Enladi Umar, just referred to people as Biafran boys? Really? What? Somebody who came out and assaulted a security man? His people, I don't know who he was, we slapped this person, and himself also, he was being held by police. He went ahead and slapped and assaulted a man for doing his job. And he has the guts to come out again and refer to people as the Biafran boys. What the freaking hell is going on in Nigeria? In an official statement, in his mental mind, in his thoughts, he refers to people as Biafran boys, and yet he had the guts to also put it in.
So sadly, again, the video is not playing as I would have wanted it to. But let me see if the one on the Biafran boys would, sorry, the assault itself. Let me see if it's gonna play. Right? If it does, then we are good to go. Yeah, I think something isn't, my internet, I think, is playing up maybe again. Maybe I don't want to say what actually crossed my mind now. Let me not say what crossed my mind, but fine. We are human. But quickly, let me play this. Okay, watch this.
Oga, you have lost the case. Your power will not save you. Hey! 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 I'll go video. So you go talk now, you go hit that for yourself. I'll video this one with plenty. I'll watch that. Video. It's mad. This man is mad. This man is mad. Oga, go inside your car, warn yourself, respect yourself. You're not the most powerful man. They will beat you for a year in a place. Enter your car, go. Enter your car, go. They must change out for him. They must change out. They must change out for this man. Go! Hey! Go! Go! He said go! Hey! Waka! Come on, you guys can't come back. Go! You came to him and you show power.
Okay, so I think enough shown there. Now, the clarity here, I'm just looking at the comment. One went to the more say too much grammar. I don't know what else you want to do. You can kindly take your bow and arrow, and if you don't want to have conversations, you only want to. I don't know if you can crawl out of your computer, but whatever you want to do, that's up to you. And your question of if I do interact with people on the comment section, obviously, you can see that the comment, most times when I do programs, my comment run on the screen and interact with people. So hence everyone making their comments from all the social media platform where we stream. Now, having said that, I would now, on this note, want to get back to what, the explanation here. This event happened at the Banex Plaza. That is given. Banex Plaza is owned by Onyibo. And so what? However, the security man, or the security, I would say man because he's 22-year-old, a man by name Clement Sagwak. Sagwak, Sargwa, Clement Sagwak, is no other person than someone from Plateau State. He's not an Igbo person, the man that was slapped. But the humanity here is, from that video again, the moment that slap landed, even the camera guy that was videoing, his accent is a Yoruba person, started shouting. And that is what these leaders failed to understand. What was at play at that moment wasn't ethnic. What was at play at that moment was very simple, that a human being was being assaulted. People reacted. Because there are so many policemen there, and these are people that own shops there, what they started doing, some of them started throwing stones, not stones, sachet water. Some of them started throwing, bottled water, just to register their disgust. Yes, they cannot confront these security operatives, but they were able to show their distraught, so their anger. And in showing that anger, the man that has bleached his skin and got into his skulls and brain started thinking, oh, okay, I've messed up, obviously, because the camera caught him. Look, the camera caught him. The camera caught him when he tried kicking that told that he has messed up. As in order to turn the narrative. In his
I wish I
glitched
get some
brain,
more
he was
strong.
thinking,
Yeah.
oh, the easiest way for me to get away from the mess that I am in now is to say that this
They go
thing
beat you come out
is
for here.
by the Biafran, because
They go
if
beat you
it's
come out for
anything, like
here.
I said at the beginning, in my intervention
They go
segment,
beat you come out for here.
Biafra is, in this conversation this evening, equals Igbo. So in this
Come
case, the only way he can
on!
get
Who you
away
be?
in his
Who
thinking
are you?
was to
Who
equal
are you? Who are
this
you? Who are you?
incident here,
Who are
that
you?
he was attacked.
Shame! No be
Sadly
so you
for
run.
him, he didn't know
No
that
be
this
so you run
guy
come out.
who was
No be so
upstairs
you run
was
come out.
videoing what
No
was
be so
going
you
on.
run come out.
You can imagine,
No be so you run come out. No
without
be so
this
you run
video,
come out.
you might
No
have
be so
seen
you
that
run come out.
DSS,
No be so.
DSS army police would have
Yay! They
invaded
don't
this
spoil the
place,
glass.
arrested
They don't
people,
spoil the
killed
glass.
the boys, um,
They don't lock the
whatever,
gate.
invaded Abuja
They
for
don't
it.
say it. They'll
And
show
you
you
would have
pepper
seen
today.
innocent lives
They don't lock the
lost.
gate. They
Because
will show you pepper. They don't lock the gate. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? They lock the gate. They will show you pepper.
so
Who are you?
obviously, like I said, obviously, when you now understand the issue in this video, you understand why, as Chinua Achebe said, that is only the only thing that unifies the people against Ndigbo, and that's very simple. Because, like I said before, the contest this evening, the Biafra in this case equal, or rather Igbo in this case equals Biafra, and it has been shown by the statement from these CCT chairman. And you remember again, this same CCT chairman, Code of Conduct Tribunal, an inferior court, was the reason why Walter Honora, the former CJN, was removed. Before we now had the aeroplane driving Tanko, the aeroplane driver. Remember when he was aeroplane driving? I'm not making it up. When he was being interviewed by the Senate, they asked him, um, you know, I think the question was about technicality, and he started talking about when you're driving an aeroplane. For Christ's sake, who drives an aeroplane? Aeroplane is flown. You fly aeroplane, but that is a man at that level can be talking about when you drive an aeroplane. It's just like when you fly a bicycle. He can fly a bicycle unless maybe there is one that you can eventually fly. Huh? Or when somebody says when you swimming when you swim on fire. But that's, by the way, that's that's not the meat of the matter. The meat of this evening, or the reason why I'm saying this evening, is after this incident, Umar calls the head of the press and public relations unit of the Code of Conduct Bureau by name, Ibrahim Al Hassan. By the written words of Ibrahim Al Hassan, he has shown that he is nothing but an incompetent being. His incompetence smells. Because if he himself has brain, the part of a PRO is not only to write what you are told to write, it is also to engage your brain in terms of strategy and understand that, yes, what are the consequences of these words that are here to be? Even when your Oga says use these words, you're not under any obligation to. Yes, Oga said Biafran boys, but must you have used it? It means, again, that he is also very incompetent. He is also in that mindset. That is the worrying part, that he is also in that mindset of referring to a people as Biafran boys. No. Having said that again, and he, in that statement, the statement was really agonizing, dreadful. According to Professor Farouk here, an error reading press release that, among other things, singled out nameless Biafran boys to blame in a show of shame in which He is the main villain. Now, how do you deal with something like that? What is the problem? Someone asks you, Oga, in this slot, please pack well so that others can come in. But in their mindset of having a nation where you amount to nothing because you are, you're not supposed to leave, maybe. You're not supposed to leave. Therefore, bang, they have to come after you. They have to run you over. Why they run your parents, my mother, your mother out of the road when they drive their convoy on a speed, on a stupid speed that you keep wondering yourself, where are they going to? They're going nowhere. Sometimes they just on mundane things, maybe to go see their girlfriend or maybe to go to a party to go drink. Yet they move on such alacrity. They move on high speed. Yet in that same event, these men were there and everybody was just waiting, looking. The end thing here is, why did Umar invent the trope of Biafran boys when it was practically impossible to determine the ethnic identities of the people who recorded and those who heckled him? Why did he? Until we understand this point, you know that the entity you called your nation is, you know, sometimes I read Chinua Achebe. I said, this is a man that saw it. Actually, even Parogi has to confess himself. When the first time he read Chinua Achebe, he never understood what was. Let me find it. I'll quote him in his own words, not me. Omar was, to the question, why did Omar invent these Biafran boys when he was practically impossible to determine the ethnic identities of those that were involved in that plaza? Sadly for him, the person he slapped is a northern Christian from Plateau State, but the people who heckled and caught him in his violent way against a fellow citizens, which was spontaneous, or spontaneous because nobody knew what it was going to happen. It was anonymous. It was across ethnic divide, and that's what we need to. That's what we need to happen. We need to reduce our attack on each other, because the moment we are more united, that something happens to a Shiite, you speak up. The moment you speak up when Shiites are being attacked, the moment we speak up when the forest of Oyo State is being invaded, the moment we speak up when Benue cries, that means when anything happens to you, there is this sense and there is this tendency that, everyone will begin to stick together because we have a common enemy. The common enemy is the elite. The common enemy are the misrulers. I no longer call them leaders because they are the misrulers. They are those that want to divide us, those that want to actually push us out. I'm looking at one man went to the mosque. I saw that piece by the PR guy. Not only was that where what was being said atrocious, the spelling and grammar would shame. I said, listen, my primary six son cannot write such trash. He can't. The spellings, he couldn't even write video clip, CRIP. No, it's video cliff. CLIFF. So when I read that FF, I said, yeah, it's a clear indication of what he's called in English, FF. There are people when they go to school, they score 39 out of 39. And when they get, daddy will say, where is your result? He said, the teacher said, we haven't finished our result. But did they tell you Mundlich what the chairman will say, or did they tell you orally? Say, yes. Our teacher said, orally, orally, I scored 15 out of 39. But when it is written, I scored 39 out of 39. That is a joke, by the way. So, to the question I asked, Umar wanted sympathy, even when he was not the top dog who tormented an underdog. He was the person. Now, Professor Farouk here, in his write-up said, and I read, Chinua Achebe captured this war in his famous 1984 booklet titled The Trouble with Nigeria. In quote, Nigerians of ethnic groups will probably achieve consent on no other matter than their common resentment of the Igbo, he wrote. Now, agreeing with what I said before. When Professor, in his own words, when Professor read this, he said he thought that Chinua Achebe was going mental, that Chinua Achebe was being paranoid, that Chinua Achebe was being, ethnic. But with the things that is happening, he has begun to see it. And in the words of Professor Parogi, who is uh, Professor Farouk here, who is a professor in America, he said, when I read this years ago, I was enraged with Achebe. I thought he, Achebe, was overly sensitive and paranoid because he didn't describe me or many people that I know. But upon deeper reflection, that's what many lack. Deeper reflection, not only taking things out of the surface, deeper reflection and more sober observation. I, however, realized that there is some truth to his claim, to what's claimed, to Chinua Achebe's claim, to what Professor Chinua Achebe said. He's not a man that understood and he knew language, he knew the English language. He couldn't just be saying things for saying them sake. Many individual Nigerians don't resent the Igbo. He continued. Of course, yes, they don't. But to deny that there is a reflexive, civil war inspired antipathy towards the Igbo as a collective group is a wallow in denial, which psychologists say is an instinctive ego defense mechanism. It is the collective unconscious national antipathy towards the Igbo that Umar was exploited when he gratuitously invoked mysterious Biafran boys to mitigate and explain away his shameful conduct. A man who ought to be the chairman of Code of Conduct Tribunal. In fact, his ministry, unless he's sacked, if we had any iota of anything, he would have resigned. But his ministry, or rather his tribunal, should be named Code of Misconduct Tribunal. Code of Misconduct Tribunal. That's his tribunal should be named. Danladi Umar. Danladi Umar. I wish there is anybody here watching that knows the structure in his own tribunal. Let us actually see the ethnic nature of those who work with that tribunal, because that man that has bleached his skin up to his brain can only be a man that dwell, or rather, I can maybe basically describe him as an ethnic jingoist. One man went to the mall. You are very active this evening, says. To be fair, Chinua Achebe was an ethnic jingoist and Igbo supremacist. Well, I think again, like Was it Chetanwanza that wrote this? No. I can't remember. One young chap wrote the following. The issue with Nigeria is you try to define how people feel their pain. If bombs are dropped everywhere in the northeast and they are complaining, we in the south where no bombs goes off will say, it's normal now, people should go to bed. If you had lived through what Achebe lived, and a man that says he loves his people, I don't think it would be fair to call him an Igbo supremacist, because I do not believe that that's what Achebe stood for. Go back and it's a very small, tiny book. Go back and read it. You can read it under maybe max 3 hours. Go back and read it again. It's a book I've read multiple times. The Trouble with Nigeria. Squarely, he, in his conclusion, lies with leadership. So, now, if I go back to some of the sections I cut out from what Professor Farouk wrote, it says, fortunately, the tactic backfired precisely because the absurdity of ethnic scapegoatism was too nakedly self-evident to be effective. But Umar is not alone. More than any other administration since the Civil War, the Buhari regime takes Igbophobia as an unofficial state policy. Watch the rhetorical maneuver of the regime aid and paid propagandists, and you will find it more often. I woke up this morning. At this point, I woke up this morning and I'll share something with us. I woke up this morning. I received the following. I shared it in my group, and in order to know what every other person thinks, quickly, I believe I can share my screen. Let me see if I can quickly share my screen. Okay. I hope. Okay, hold on. Let me not share my screen because there is something I found a little bit worrying. Okay. Was it that one? No, it's not. Sorry. We need to look at this. We need to review this. What was it called? That was shared by a professor. Now, I belong to a group, and I woke up. The first thing I read on an Easter day after morning, really being, having lost a dear friend and a colleague in this fight, and you woke up and you read one of, I think I consider it one of the stupidest write-up I've ever seen. And I want you people to read that with me because I was flabbergasted, I must say. Let me quickly pull that. Up. I was indeed flabbergasted when I read it, and I thought to myself, "Oh, yo, how can you just wake up?" And some people just think on a Sunday morning they wake up. The only thing they can start their day with is Igbo bashing. If they haven't bashed in the Igbo on their own, if they haven't bashed Igbo, they haven't started on their own. If they haven't bashed Igbos, they haven't started. Yes, I think I found it. So let me not disclose the group name. I will do them a favor and copy it into a document. Oh, sugar. Okay. Duplicate. So I will quickly do this, then I'll share my screen for you to follow me in this journey of reading words and that I encountered this morning, because there are some things that okay. So can I share my screen now? I believe I can. Okay, where is this share screen application? Share. Okay. So I believe you can see my, is this type of mentality that informs such garbage. I woke up morning, this is what I had to read. Okay. It says, did anyone notice? No one from Southeast has indicated or shown interest or contesting for president in 2023. It's called guilty conscience. When I read this, I thought, okay, 2023, Igbo presidency, 2 freaking years ahead of, and they're already calling Igbos out. Now, continue. The kind attack which we showered on this administration as Igbo is unimaginable. We turned our hatred for the APC here in the Southeast as a religion. We created many avenues and groups to discredit this nation and our Commonwealth, all for what? In 2014, we were urged to campaign and align with the APC. Since PDP refused to give us a shot for 16 years, what did we do? We threw it all away and called on Nnamdi Kanu to come home and cause unrest and confusion. You see, again, why I show this to us is that many of us, or many of my viewers who weren't born, like myself, before or during the war, when you read historical happenings, there is no way you can piggyback to say, okay, is this true or not? But here we are looking at what has just happened in the last couple of years, and you think, hey, why is someone here rewriting history? As Zebediah would say, before our own very before. Somebody is now insinuating we threw it away and called on Nnamdi Kanu, now saying that Ndigbo called on Nnamdi Kanu to come down in this country to cause confusion. I'll pause for a moment because I don't want to read before I forget it. Again, Nnamdi Kanu been coming to Nigeria 2014. Jonathan was there. Early 2015, he's been coming to Nigeria, right? So, but why suddenly when he came the first time? Because in Igbo they say, "Onye amara ebe mmiri bido, ma bịara ama ebe ọ kwụsịrị." And he came in your country, you arrested him. Nobody said anything, myself included. Everybody was confused. Why was he arrested? Nobody knew him. Many of us weren't actually, never listened to him, watched him or anything. But who cared? But the trouble started when a court of competent jurisdiction, remember his lawyer then was, I think, Obata or Obate, a lecturer at Esut, Enugu, a court of competent jurisdiction said, release this man on bail. No, we released this man unconditionally. That was when the issue started. So please, for those of you trying to rewrite history, we are still alive. And that was when many people started getting involved, myself included, because the question was, wait a minute, why is this man, a court says release him, and the president is saying, in an interview to Al Jazeera, said, are you not aware? He came in with the country with the 2 passports. He's as if having 2 passports, it's a crime. Having said that, that is on clarification. Now, the person who wrote this continues in his diatribe, says, "We took our fight to the doorstep of innocent tribe of this nation who did nothing wrong to us." In 2019, then, but here, I would say, I wish I could know this writer to tell me which tribe that we took our fight to. But again, I think this person needs his head examined. If you're accusing Nnamdi Kanu of some utterances made, which should be for him, that cannot be a yardstick to hold the whole Igbo nation to say that they did. We cannot be alive and see someone turn history upside down before our own very before. That is absolutely nonsense. And it's, whoever wrote this jargon, this rubbish, was doing it pretending to be Onyibo. And if this person is Onyibo, I will question the paternity of whoever is writing this manner of rubbish. We said here, in 2029, Buhari won the election in 2029 without our vote. Yet, Muhammadu Buhari and the APC had in mind to give us in 2023. Na ụfọdụ ndị mmadụ bred ụfọdụ ndị mmadụ go ọkụkọ to go akala to give you presidency in 23. So now there is no more election in Nigeria, but so election now is now given. Election is now. If we can still rethink and consider supporting APC in 2029, what did we do? We threw it all away by fielding an Igbo man as the running mate to a PDP. Sometimes I just want to squeeze something out. How can somebody be writing this absolute where you are now saying that PDP is a different party? For effing sake, it's a different party. So they have the right. Everybody have the right to look. There are states in America that did not vote for Joe Biden. For Christ's sake, for crying out loud, there are states in the United Kingdom. No matter what conservative does, they will never vote for them. It is so. There are states that are Republican, red and blue states. Traditionally, are people being punished because they are red state or blue state? That is absolute insane. Now, he says, and this conjuncture, this person continues and say, we threw it away, fielding an Igbo man. Jesus, have mercy. No, have mercy. Fielding an Igbo man. And the APC ended up getting only 10% vote from the Southeast. I mean, that's an increment. They actually tried. I told the people then, when you won the election, you had all it took to start a national reconciliation after fighting a very, very dirty battle in 2015. But what did you do? You never visited any of the Southeasterns. You never courted them. You think president is what makes people or how you garner empathy. People die in Benue. You have a president who cannot go to Benue and empathize with the people. People die in Plateau. Then you have a president who cannot go to Plateau to empathize a people that he governs. We threw them away, he says, that we gave him 5%. I said, lucky. What the lucky? I hope one of them go, you have a 3%. Now, it is telling on us. What is telling on us? Listen, we are conceived in recession, born in recession. Since after the war. It has been our way. So it's not nothing, whether you like it or not. He says, Now it's telling on us, blah, blah. Now, okay, look at this. Who is to vote an Igbo man in 2023? The murderous Fulani. Now, look at what this person is saying. You ask yourself, does he mean by name? He says, Chigozirim Emaka. And I said, I wish I can engage this person. Please, if you're watching me and you know this person, Chigozirim Emakai, get in touch. I want to engage him on this platform because I want to take these things one by one. The Yorubas who you call Fulani slaves and the betrayers, the Yorubas who you attack their city or the name of NSAS, you see, thank God I intervened when NSAS was about getting out of hand. On this platform, you all saw it when fences were mended. But that someone now says that Igbos were the ones that caused NSAS. And it makes me doubt if whoever is writing this nonsense, when NSAS that was spontaneous by the kings, because NSAS, what SARS was doing, which the IG acknowledged, was not only killing Igbos, it's a replication of what happened in that plaza when everyone cried out. But again, in some people's imagination, it's always easy to blame whatever that is happening on Ndigbo. It's always easy. It's always easy. That is the easiest thing to do, to blame whatever that is happening. To always kill every. Anyway, now again, look, it says, I ask again, why hasn't any Igbo politician shown interest for 2023? I say, wallahi, this person, in fact, he reasons through the orifice. Whoever this person is, sorry about this, but that's 2 years ahead. You're talking about, so you're writing this garbage because Tinubu went to Kano to do his birthday. Therefore, every other person will come and line up. Finish your 2 years governance. Comes if people of Igbo origin or people who, if they still want to be part of and contest election, so be it. So be it. Anyway, I wish I knew who this Chigozim Emeki. Never heard such surname before. Campaign begins in few months from now. So what are we waiting for? And I will say, Chigomeki, I believe you're an APC member. I'm expecting you to come. You that have not been insulting anybody, can you please now come out and run for presidency? So having said that, now this is that part. You can see on that note that this guy clearly, reason why I pulled this up is to show us in line with Professor Farouk's argument that everyone comes together whenever Ndigbo is concerned. And that's and again, I belong to no party, not APC, no PDP, no nothing. But I say this. For 2023, PDP will know that agwụgwọ na edo nwere nkwụ wee nwelu. That na ọ bụrụ na alụsị edo kpaba ike gosi ya osisi eji wee tụọ ya. For the past 18, 20 years or 21 years, ndị Igbo probably been voting for you. And I had read how they said they would zone it to other zone or they would discard zoning. The moment I read that, I said, Shagari was president, and there was an agreement that after him after his governance, after election of 1979, re-election of 1983, that by, was it 88 or thereabout? No, by 87, Ekweme should take over. What happened? What happened? the moment it gets close, remember I said at the beginning we had 3 hours. Those 3 hours are basically amounts to nothing. The moment it gets over, getting close to anything for any consensus for Ndigbo, every you burn the bridge, and you see that Nigeria is in a mess is because you keep burning that bridge. PDP, you can remove zoning from your party. You burn that bridge. When Obasanjo was elected, Yoruba man, there was zoning. When Yaradua was elected, there was zoning. When Yaradua died, zoning was considered to get Jonathan. Suddenly, it comes to a point where there is this clamor that it is the turn of Ndigbo. You decided and you begin to think of tinkering with your constitution to do away with zoning and say it's competence. Oh yeah, bring it on. Let us now see where competence sits. Does competence sit in a place, a region that would require Mark II, to get into a federal government college known as Unitary School? Whereas a child from Imo State at Anambra State will go home crying, Mama, I have failed my exam because I scored 139 and 137 respectively. Whereas a child that scored 2 will go home jubilating. And you build that block, you think you come to a certain level that suddenly the one that has 139 and goes home crying that he failed an exam, meaning that that child who is going to be doing everything to score at least 140, 150 to get into that school, suddenly when he gets to university, get into work, he will now, his brain will be wiped out like a computer that you just delete all the files in it, and that's it. The other one that has been Itiboribo that has been scoring 2 will come up, right? You wipe it. Don't worry. Listen, it is a defining moment, 2023. But again, as you know, as Farouk in his argument, as he posits in his argument, which I hope this will allow me come back to it now quickly. Okay. Oh, sorry. Anyway, so in conclusion here, Farouk now argues that Nigerians must look inward and think about how they treat Ndigbo, because if this continues, you give them no reason whatsoever than to see themselves as a people that you have eventually said they amount to nothing to you. Now, and Farouk actually went further and back, he went further to say that if you watch the interview with Al Jazeera in 2026, the moment, that is what we call the Aba massacre, the moment that Buhari was asked about, let me see if I can actually find it. So, because it's not going to be me talking. Where's my, let me see if I can find it. If I find, Al Jazeera, Buhari, Biafra. Hold on. When the moment Buhari was asked a question on Biafra, you can see his countenance changed. Everything in him stood up. And this is a man that ought to be a president. Okay? Let me quickly, if I can find that video. Okay. Let me look for a longer version. Oh, why all of them are only, but it doesn't matter. Let me share my my screen so that some of you can see what I mean here, or what, not me, what Farouk is referring to. Farouk is referring to the following. Okay. Now watch this.
Shooting at unarmed protesters.
Okay, watch this. Okay, I want you to pay attention. Watch this. So that's the video that Farouk was referring to. But we just need must have seen it multiple times. But it might be it might be very well as well to for some of you to look at it in the context of this evening conversation. And suddenly it doesn't want to play. Something must be wrong here. Let me try once more. Wow.
They are protesting peacefully for the most part on a regular basis. And there has been video, I could show you some video that's been posted of a very... No, thank you. These are the images the president didn't want to see. There are...
You know, this is unbelievable. But again, some of you will know the video I'm talking about. So let me go on and without wasting time. I will come back to that and see if I can, maybe it's trying to load or whatever. As long, okay, I think. Did it play now? Don't worry. I think I would. Maybe the system is overloaded. I think. Hold on quickly. Okay, I'll come back to that before I finish. Oh, okay. Let me try now, and hopefully it's gonna work. Okay, so I think it might work now. Quickly, let me do this again. Sorry about this. Okay. Okay, now pay attention. Okay.
Of Biafra, IPOB. They are protesting peacefully for the most part on a regular basis. And there has been video, I could show you some video that's been posted of a very... No,
you see that? This is at this moment you will know a leader that has a level of resentment. Now, without sounding immodest, can we just oppose leadership here with Osibanjo, assuming Osibanjo is the one who sat on this seat, and you've been shown that a section of your citizenship being shot with live ammunition, their crime that they were praying in a worship center in Aba, praying. Because people must contextualize when you talk about the crisis we have now, how we got here. You cannot talk about this without both the body language, both the actions, both, these are spoken and unspoken words. Again, I repeat, let me play this again so that it sinks in.
They are protesting peacefully for the most part on a regular basis. And there's been video, I could show you some video that's been posted of a very...
You see? Classical. Show me. If this man had not what Farouk was describing, a fellow Natala, Professor Farouk, if he doesn't have that Igbophobic mentality in his mind, even if when it is fake, what any reasonable leader will do is to say, even if when you have seen it and you would have shown empathy, even if when you walk out of this set without probing it, but you would have said, can I see it? you look at it and you say, wow, this is unacceptable. Even if it's plausible, even if somehow that you must show people that you care. But here, he says, thank you.
These are the images
Eventually,
the president didn't want to see. They're on the internet, and
you see,
we can't verify exactly what they
nothing
show,
to
but it
verify
appears as
here.
though
This is not.
security
Look at
forces
where your
are
security
shooting at
forces.
unarmed protesters.
Well, honestly, now you can see your security shooting unarmed protesters. There is no two ways about this. So when you now begin to look at this the way it is, then you begin to wonder yourself and you begin to agree with the professor, Professor Perogi here. The professor is damn right. That's the way I look at it. The professor is damn right. And uh, when it's John Okuye is already on, he said, I'll personally boycott this forum if this bare brain fool is featured in this hallowed platform. You see, that is what, John, one thing we must learn the act of engagement. Nobody's opinion. No matter, I totally disagree with what he has written, but I will seek to engage him deeper understanding and relearning of the things he knows. Because at the end of the day, um, you know, running away from intellect engagement will not help any of us. We must not agree with every single person, John. You must not. So, if I now come back and I have another clip, which is this is now, remember again, we're now moving from the Biafran comment, which Professor Farouk Berogi wrote extensively and so intelligent and analyzed the issue. I'll move on to the current tragedy that we have now, where this issue keeps getting to a point, probably transcended the not only about Ndigbo now, but it has actually gone beyond that. Hmm. So again, according to Farouk, he says, again on 3rd of 13th of September 2016, when Youth Corps members who served in Castina paid him a court visit, Buhari singled out the Igbos among them for censure over Biafra. And we quote, tell your colleagues who want Biafra to forget about it, he said. That was unprecedented, Farouk argues. Professor Farouk said that was unpresidential and indevious, particularly because at that time, Biafra didn't even enjoy as much simp in the southeast as it does now. That is correct. The Biafran agitation that you hear today in the southeast, if truth to be so told, is as a direct result of Buhari. And it's as a direct result of Buhari disobeying court order, the using military personnel to deal with a people at that point that dialogue as a father could have solved. Dialogue. I believe you me, honestly, when this issue was happening, I told people, even if it was through the back door that Professor Yemi Osibanjo, whoever, really engaged Nnamdi Kanu that time through the back door and started, with their APC restructuring document. And if they were genuine, as they call themselves, progressive and engaged, I don't think we will be in the mess we are in today. But sadly, this is where we are. And Professor Farouk continues. What Buhari did was akin to requesting a group of Muslim well-wishers to tell their terrorist co-religious to stop terrorism. God bless you, Farouk. God bless you for that. Or telling innocent Fulani well-wishers to tell their colleagues to stop kidnapping. That's unfair. That's presidential stereotyping. That is dangerous generalization. The president and Umar must know that not every Igbo person is an IPOB. That is a fact. Not every Igbo person is an IPOB. We must learn to, you know, compact and deal with this issue the way they ought to be with. Again, in conclusion, Farouk now also said this has happened with the renewed agitation for Biafra. Up till mid 2016, Biafra was on the fringe, even in Igbo land. That's true, that's a fact. Buhari has ensured that it's now moved in the forefront. Let him enjoy it. Again, in conclusion, he says a good first step to demonstrate sincerity in the quest for national unity is to fire down Ladi Umar for unwarrantedly stereotyping an entire ethnic group without evidence. If not, preachment about national unity will sound even more hollow than they have always been. Most people know that national unity is only invoked on as a rhetoric to squaddle distance, but Omar has presented an opportunity to show that it means more than that. On that note, I agree 1,000,000% with Professor Farouk, if at all. Now, here comes in Falana, Femi Falana, who all of you all know, the SAN. Femi Falana says that he risks 5 years imprisonment. That's Femi Falana saying this, that he risks 5 years imprisonment. Let me read chat so that we can see this border here. And here we can see Femi Falana is saying that the Code of Conduct Tribunal chairman is liable to 5 years jail time over Biafran boy comment, Falana says. And look, the human rights lawyer and senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, says Danladi Umar, Code of Conduct Tribunal chairman, could get 5 years jail time for using Biafran boy to describe persons he had an altercation with. Monday, Umar was blah blah blah, but I want to get to the meat of the matter, which is this place. Al Hassan had said that the guard threatened Umar while some Biafran boys also harassed him. But you can see how these individuals are lying. You can see in that video, nobody who harassed this man. He was the one that went on the offensive. The CCT spokesperson later said it was Umar who asked him to use the Biafran boys. Therefore, he's now removing himself. Now, Falana today was saying that in a statement on Saturday, that is yesterday, Falana said that the use of the phrase constitute xenophobia, which contravenes cybercrime law. And here is the meat of the matter. The use of word Biafran boys in the statement produced through a computer system or network on the instruction of the chairman of the Code of Conduct Bureau and distributed to the media last week constitute a contravention of Section 26 of the Cybercrime Act of 2015, which prohibits the use of racist or xenophobic materials. And this guy ought to know. Here is what I want. If you're watching me and you're an Igbo lawyer, I want you to take action. Can you start a class action suit against this man that, because we can not only talk about it, we must get to a point where we must respect one another, or we use the instrumentality of law to get people to behave themselves nilly-willy, even if they don't want to do so, because that's what it is. Having shown us this, in conclusion here, before I open the phone line, we would now The second part here, you can see in the lower banner here, you see the Buhari has gone to hospital in London. Again, that is a clear indication of leadership failure. He has failed in 6 years. 6 freaking years. He has not been able to build any single hospital. 6 years. He has not been able to build hospital. 6 years. For some of you that say, why are you shouting? PDP was there for 16 years. PDP didn't build any hospital. No. 16 years. PDP built hospital. What Buhari needs to do, because the PDP has built the Asorok Clinic, what Buhari needed to do, knowing that he's sick, is to equip the hospital to a standard that can take care of him. Honestly, I hear the argument, oh yes, he is because he knows his lawyer since time immemorial. He prefers to go there. Of course he can prefer to go there, but as a president, do you know it will make more sense to even invite these doctors to Nigeria? I mean, if you're a president of a country, there are some, there is this level of consciousness one would expect that, you shouldn't just, everything shouldn't just be happening just because, I don't know. Let me see if I can get quickly, how's it again? Let me see if I can get, hold on, sorry here. My brain is now probably trying to behave like Babana. My brain is trying to be frozen. Hold on. What's called again? Jesus Christ. Okay. Dele Mamodu. Dele Mamodu, one of the interviews recently made this following assertion that I found it interesting, but so that you hear only from my mouth, I would bring Dele Mamodu in to actually state himself. Okay. Dele Mamodu, where are you? Okay. Let me quickly bring Dele in for him to make this same point, because the point he made is really, really, very serious. I hope these maybe it will allow me to play this, and afterwards I can. So Dele made the following points. Dele, where are you? Okay.
No, nobody has the balls. I'm sorry to use that word. Nigerians don't have that kind of balls. Even the things you're saying now, people call me, oh, are you not afraid of Buhari? I said, why should I be afraid of? Buhari is the president of Nigeria. Buhari is paid to work for Nigeria. Buhari is not a god of Nigeria. He is paid by Nigerians. He's a staff of the people of Nigeria. And until you treat our leaders as staff and not as emperors or monarchs, I've said it. If Buhari wanted to be a Fulani champion, he knew what to do. He should have been an emir, not a president. If you want to, only to protect the interests of your people, then go and be a tribal warlord or something. But the moment you signed on to be the president of Nigeria, you must work for every inch of Nigeria and for every citizen of Nigeria. They are your boss. we are actually the boss. Buhari is not the boss of Nigeria. You know, so but some Nigerians have chosen to live as slaves in their own country. I wish them the best of luck. You know, but I'm a freeborn, and for as long as I live, I will tell my leader the truth. I have nothing against Buhari. Every day I post his pictures, they send me his pictures, I post it. I render unto Caesar the things that belong to Caesar, but then I challenge Caesar. I ask questions from Caesar. I'm not a slave of Caesar.
All right, thank you so much. We are about to bring this to an end. It's been a very exciting interview. Unfortunately, Bobby has only committed to 1 day. I would have loved to bring him for 3 days the way I always do. Everybody, but I recognize he's a very busy man. I'll still try to harass him and see if I can steal 1 more day from him. But maybe this time I'll tell him to reverse it. Let me blackmail him a little bit.
Tomorrow, Fridays I write pendulum 2,000 words. I'm still going to write 2,000 words tomorrow. Saturday is always a busy day. You have weddings, all kinds of things, but all kinds of things.
Monday is there on Tuesday. We will find the date. Me and you will find the date.
I don't even know which country I will be by then. So that's it. But it's okay.
But we will agree. No problem. Thank you so much. The last question for you, sir. All right. I want you to open up your crystal ball. Yes, this is a gimme now. See, what does your crystal ball say will happen in 2023? A breakup, new leadership out of the two parties, or same old from the two parties? What say you, sir?
Well, I believe we're not likely to have a breakup between now and 2023. That's not to say it's impossible, but it's going to take a lot, especially it's going to take a lot. It's one of the questions I put to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu when I interviewed him, that will it be possible for us to have a breakup without a fight, without a war? Theoretically, it's been said that no country can survive 2 civil wars. We already fought one, 67 to 70. And we know how many lives were lost, how many properties were wasted and all that. So what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and others are saying is that we should have a referendum. Even that referendum is going to organize it. Some people are saying the United Nations. The process and procedure is not a one-day affair. So but I think slowly but steadily, Nigeria is moving towards disintegration. Some people might not see it. When things are happening, I was one of those who did not see Brexit. I said, oh, I'm sure Britain will be able to pull out. But they pulled out. So Buhari is making it more compelling for Nigerians to pull out of Nigeria. It's unfortunate. I don't know why it feels that history will be kind to him if that happens. A country of great men and women, a country that has produced some of the greatest human beings on earth, is now being reduced to a country of cows. It's unfortunate. It's a disaster. But if that's the legacy he has chosen for himself, I wish him the best of luck. But you go and learn from previous leaders and see what became of them after they left power. And the people who suffered the most is not even the leader, because he is old. He is nearer 80 than 70. It's always the family. And I'm surprised that nobody, I know his wife has cried out, she has spoken up, even more than necessary. People have attacked the woman and everything. I think she has spoken because she knows that they still have much longer life to live as his family. So that's why we work for a proper legacy. Whether you defend Fulani hegemony or not, it does not mean that you are going to ultimately achieve your goal. So, and all of us came by accident of birth. That you are a Yoruba man is an accident of birth. That you are a Fulani man is an accident. Next time maybe you are going to be a Korean or a Japanese or a Kenyan. You don't know where you are going to land. So why are you fighting for, primordial things that are ephemeral, things that you cannot carry to heaven? You didn't bring anything to the world, and you shall take nothing. And when I read that the president said he would not hand over to his vice president was traveling, it reminded me of the foolishness of Mr. Donald Trump on the eve of his departure when he refused to allow the Air Force One to go and pick Joe Biden to come to Washington, D.C. And I shook my head. I said by this time tomorrow, Joe Biden will be the rightful owner of that same aircraft. So why are you carrying the word on your head? It's not necessary. You are going on hospital. You are not what said he will run Nigeria from his hospital in London. How much insult must we as Nigerians? But I wish Nigeria the best of luck. May God perform his miracle as always. Thank you.
Hey! Oh, Nigerian to. Nigerian to. No to no go dey kene ntị. Nto. You hear that? Where would I start? A man goes to London for his medical treatment. He goes with presidential powers. Why? There is no other reason that he doesn't or they don't want the vice president to take over and take charge. Remember, the first time the vice president ever took charge was when Buhari was sick in London. And that was the first time anybody in this administration was fired. You remember? DSS, head of DSS by name Daura, invaded the National Assembly with masked men under Saraki. The camping of a thing was going on. They were planning to impeach Saraki. We saw it. Saraki did the Ojoro and went in through the back door. But when Professor Yemi Osibanjo, who was then an acting president, heard about the news that an arm of government, the executive, invaded the legislature, he was alarmed. He's for goodness sake, and he fired on the spot. That's what leaders do. He fired on the spot. Since then, that's when his problem started. Osimanjo's problem started after that incident. Suddenly, he became scared. Now, wow, so this man can only do X, Y, Z. And here we are. A man goes to hospital. Ask me if you know you are serious, if you know you are sick. Listen, I begrudge him not. Everybody can be sick, myself included. I can be sick. You watching me now, you can be sick. You can wake up. You can actually, I've seen people just now, you just go to bed now after this conversation. You wake up tomorrow morning, you have this unbearable pain. You start going to hospital. You start looking for where to go. It does happen. I become not. And, like again, we're all mortals. However, if you are sick, first year, second year, third year, 4 year, 5 year, 6 years, your wife has complained after budgeting billions of naira that there are no strings for injections at this Asoro clinic. Your wife has complained. Your son goes to Germany for medical checkup and treatment when he had accident. Your wife, Buhari Aisha, goes to Dubai. You go to London. They do us, so. Why is it? You see, the sad thing is, in those hospitals they go to, many a times they are being treated by Nigerians. Those that they've, by their actions of useless policies, driven away out of Nigeria to go in America, US, United Kingdom, Arab Emirates, Germany, because when they go to Germany, they don't speak Germans. What they have to look for, I remember then in Württemberg, one of them from during the time of Sharia around 2003 came from for hospital treatment. We were called, you come and interpret, Dolmetscher Germans call it, just for you to interpret. And these people were busy drinking whiskey, VSOP. Yet they were cutting people's hand there, using caterpillar to level every single alcohol. Yet in Germany, they were doing this. Now, why did they have to bring in Nigerians to come and interpret German to English for doctors to do the job? Why? 6 years. You could be forgiven in the first year. Let's just argue for argument's sake that PDP ran everything aground. For argument's sake, PDP ran everything aground. They had the first year to build a hospital. We saw the one built by Anambra progressives in Anambra State during the time of lockdown. 2 hospitals built within 6 months, world-class hospitals. Now we're talking about a government, a federal government that has billions, unlimited access to cash, cannot build anything. 6 years, you couldn't build. 6 years, you couldn't even equip. Okay, you see, sometimes I don't even know the type of brain our leaders have. Because if I'm to be the president, knowing that I am sick, shouldn't I? No one is quarreling with you now. The location of the hospital. Go to Daura and build a world-class hospital. You know the funny thing, because you can't be in this earth forever. Yes, 20, 30 years, you die. If you're going to get up to 20 years more, because by the virtue of your age, add another 20 to it, is very unlikely. But even if you're going to get to, like Gary, who was 90 something, even if you're going to get to that age, add 20 years, max 30 years to your age, you leave. Generations, your children, your grandchildren will have a place to go. That is the thing that sometimes I don't know. Something must be wrong with leadership. That someone will be there, he can't build any single hospital. You cannot even maintain, not even equip the one that you have. You can't equip it, run it. Let human beings, let people. Location as in Woloshenka's book, The Trial of Brother Jero, it says location indifferent. Look, no one cares about the location. No one. Build it in Daura. Honestly, build it in Daura. But if normally any right thinking person should be thinking of anyway. Why should I even bother myself? But again, like this guy, Dele Mahmoud said, that's the point. The point remains that this place is being run like a private estate. No one will do anything. I wouldn't mind. I wake up tomorrow now. This broadcast will be twisted all around, and it will be an Igbo bashing nonsense. So ihe ndị Igbo utu ekweniwe onye ọbụla na-achọ etu unu si eme Igbo this, Igbo that. Igbo this, Igbo that. A man goes to a shopping mall, assaults another man. Everybody there, Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, Fulani, everybody spoke out in anger. You enter your motor, you enter your car. The only thing you can come up with in your bleached brain is to say that the Biafran boys attacked you. These people don't know that they don't know the extent that technology has gone. Technology has gone. Many people, you can be talking to somebody, you don't even, without having a phone, but that individual is recording. You don't know it's possible. You don't know. So without those recordings now, you would have been, Biafran boys, Biafran boys. You see how warped their brains can be. Biafran boys, yet you are the one that assaulted someone. The other one, Ado or whatever it's called, from Adamawa State. The other time was in a sex store in Abuja. You went in there, you assaulted them. You didn't even know that CCTV was there. When the TV came, he started apologizing, blah, blah, blah. It's just a nation that has no, people have no moral right to resign, yet the government has also no moral right to even punish them to go. In this case, I'll call upon again lawyers to take up this case and ensure if the government does not punish them, that we can also use the instrumentality of law to punish them, because that is indeed unbelievable. So the telephone line is open now. You can call in and make your contribution. I have my first caller from the United States of America, I believe. Hello, you are speaking to Mazes Okay Live.
Yeah. Yes, okay.
Yes, can you please turn down the volume of the set you're watching me with? Okay, go ahead with your comment now.
Yeah, Mazos, okay. I was listening to you. I always listen to you. But you see, there is something, you just say something. I'm not to belittle you, but by the way, I'm calling from Colorado. My name is Tony. That's how you need to know. I'm from the East. Listen, you say something is wrong with leadership. Nothing is wrong with leadership. You understand? You need to go back. Nothing is wrong with leadership. Nigeria has no leaders, man. Our people don't understand what leadership means. That's first. Second, our problem is the 1999 Constitution. That's why these people behave like the way they behave. You can't see the stuff they do. Come to America and do it. Even Judge what's his name? Judge Bush or Trump or the current President Biden cannot behave the way they behave. They behave that way because they wrote that stupid constitution. That stupid constitution, we didn't write it. We need to go to 1963 constitution. So we need to get this stuff straight. These people behave the way they behave because they wrote that stupid constitution and imposed it on all of us. That's why they behave the way they behave.
May I ask you something, sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I agree the 1999 Constitution is an abnormality, is something that shouldn't have not been done, shouldn't have stayed. Granted. Do you know that the same 1999 Constitution spells out some punishments on what to be done? Now tell me, beyond Constitution, where is morality in governing Nigeria? Like the case under review this evening, individual without the Constitution, if it had happened in America that somebody used such words on others, with the public outcry now, you will see the head of an agency in America would have resigned by now.
Yes.
Now, hold on. This on resignation has nothing to do with Constitution, not American Constitution, not.
Yeah, but hold
on now, not Nigerian Constitution. On morality.
If he doesn't resign, he will be forced to resign.
Exactly.
What are you talking about? He doesn't resign, he will be forced to resign.
Okay, now, then hold on. He will be forced to resign, right?
Yes.
Now, the law, even as jaga as it is in Nigeria today, also has that provision to force this guy to resign. However, because of leadership, you will not see someone. Remember, I remember when in 2015, after winning an election, Godswill Akpabio ran red light traffic. The light, then he came to Abuja as a senator. The light was red. He ran it and caused accident. He was flown to London, right? If you remember then he was still under PDP. I remember that Federal Road Safety Commission looked into it and said he will be charged. In law, he ought to have gone to prison for breaking the law of running red light. That is law. Now, morality, he would have apologized and taken ownership, but he didn't. What eventually happened? There is law there to make him do the right thing, but the consciousness as leaders, which you cannot compare to what happened in America or any civilized world for that matter. Even, let's not go to, in as much as you're in America, let's not even get to America. Let's stay in Africa. There are things that cannot happen in Rwanda. There are things that, some of these things can't even happen in Kenya. But here it happens because every man is a big man. Every person just, believes. Honestly, sometimes it just does my head. I've got to be honest with you.
My brother, I know where you're going. Morality, right? Morality. Morality means nothing to me. You follow the law, obey the law. You understand? See, a lot of people that live in America. My brother is not the president of America. My brother is not the mayor. My brother is not the police chief. My brother is not the governor. But mostly the law works. Follow the law, and then everything will go. You don't have to apologize. Forget about morality. Morality doesn't feed my kids. Just follow the law, obey the law, respect everybody according to the law.
The danger is your danger is here. In Nigerian parlance, there is what they call political will. Political will is where you have a law. If I come into your house, break into your house, steal something, the law will punish me. But the political will now be this where the whole mess starts, that it will begin to protect me. That's why whenever we say anything about herdsmen and farmers clashes, I mean, it's a clear definition of insanity. It's an absolute conjunction because it does not happen.
My brother, I know where you're going, but you see the mistake you're making is with all the nationalities in Nigeria, we don't use the same system of morality, especially between Fulanis and the rest of everybody else. The way you see morality is the way they see morality. That's why I say leave morality aside.
No. It's not okay. Now you're jumping. You say the way they see morality, the way you see it. There is no. You see, there is. There is what I call universal consciousness, right? Irrespective of religion, irrespective of country, irrespective of affiliation, taking somebody's thing is naturally a crime. And you talk about punishment by depending on your religion, if it's the one that will chop off your hand, or is it the one that would do all manner of things to you? But one thing here is the inability of a particular society, even when it is already enshrined in, to take action is, as Chinua Achebe, which I would agree 99.9% is the failure of leadership. On that note, I'll say thank you very much for joining me. Let me take other callers. Thank you very much.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. So thank you. I take some comments. Okay. Let me take some comments. I think I had a caller from Germany before. Oh, okay, you're calling back again. Caller, good evening. You're speaking to Mazes Okay Live.
Mazes Okay, good evening or good morning from Germany.
Good evening. Is it? No, it's not even Germany. It's not even morning in Germany now. It's still good evening because it's not even up to 12. Oh, okay, it's 12 already. Sorry. Yeah.
It's 12 already. Yeah.
No, I forgot. We're no longer in the same time zone with Nigeria. Okay, sorry.
Exactly. Yeah. Actually, I have my own. I have a different view on Biafran. I mean, the comment.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it the other way that why shouldn't I be a Biafran? I'm a Biafran. That him call me a Biafran is even better than call me Nyamre. If he had called those guys in Nyamre boys, I would be very mad.
but they called Biafran boys. I look at it as it's okay for me.
But you should know that come here can be misconstrued in so many ways. And again, you know, when somebody say come here, it's soft. Come here could actually go to this extent of becoming an insult. Now, taking into cognizance of the ethnic diversity of the people involved is what the issue and why others have taken exception to that use. It wasn't used in a proper way. It was used as a weapon to garner sentiment. Okay, because you can imagine. Let's say, for instance, when we had NSAS, you saw how people who were protesting, suddenly some other people came with sticks, clubs, machetes to start attacking them. Do you know what those boys were told before? Beyond the payment of payment, they must have been told something to make them come out as they came out thinking they were protecting something. Now, suppose that same scenario with the comment of Biafran boys that this guy left. At night, DSS came and did the main havoc that was no longer captured on camera. Now, what do you think he would have told the DSS that would have prompted them armed to themselves, to the teeth, thinking, we are now going there to show the Biafran boys. Do you understand? So it's not about the word. I mean, it's just like when I used to live in Germany, people say, yeah, you are to be schwarz, meaning you are black. I said, na und? Na und? That's voll bin ich. Ich bin schwarz and na und? So, in that context, I can say, so you call me a Biafran? Of course, yes, I am. Do you understand? But it's not in this context.
Exactly. Now, that's where I was coming from. I was coming to, because he called Biafran boys. His intention could be different, to embarrass or to...
No, his intention was to ridicule.
Exactly.
And the intention was to ridicule, to cause bad blood, thinking, whenever anything concerns Ndigbo, you use that, everybody will come out. Snake is entered here, kill him.
Exactly. Yeah, because Colin, I don't see any harm, but his intention was horrible.
No.
And again, one thing, my brother, I always follow is almost, although tomorrow is public holidays here, but let me tell my brother, it is time for we Igbos to stop living in denial. We are living in denial about Nigeria, and that is what pisses me off. It baffles me.
Sorry, before you continue, I can just say that we have over 300 people watching, and please, can you like this video and can you share this video, those of you watching, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel, can you kindly do so? Come on, then can you go ahead and continue? Thank you.
Yeah, I've done that already. So what I'm trying to say is, my brother, we Igbos were living in denial. Nigeria is not made for an Igbo man, an Igbo person. Even before even the Civil War, the people were killing us in the towns, and we continued, building one nation that does not care about Igbo life. I grew up in the north. As a young child, I grew up in Gusau, in now Zamfara State. It was Sokoto State. I knew what we went through. That was in the 80s. We left, me and my brother, we left to Kano. We met Metasine.
Metasine 83.
Metasine crisis.
Mm-hmm.
We knew what we went through. We left the scene where I'm in no stage. We went to where it is called, Azare. Azare is in Bauchi State. We witnessed Bauchi killings of Igbo people. Of Igbo people. How they roasted Igbo boys in Bauchi State. Ningi is also in Bauchi State. We moved to Jos, and that's where I lost my brother from these Fulani people, from the Arewa people. Everything was, in fact, like Jos was a calm place. We said, okay, this is the place where Igbos are welcome. All of a sudden, they brought their problem. Everywhere was mayhem. I lost a lot of people in Jos. They left. Even as we speak, look, Mazi, I don't want to prolong this thing, but we Igbos, we are living with people who don't love us. We have done everything to be called Nigerians, but they don't see us as Nigerians, like mostly the core northern Nigeria. If you listen to what their Ahmad Bello said, how they hate Igbos, and this is what this man is implementing, the naturalization, the finalization of Nigeria. For me, Danfodio was their first Mahdi. Ahmad Bello was the second Mahdi, and Buhari is the third Mahdi. What Buhari is doing is exactly what their forefathers has planned for Ndigbo. As long as we continue living in denial, they will be, putting their fingers in our eyes, and nothing will happen.
Okay.
Look at what we're doing in this East. And when we do something, they will call us name, they will bring armored car, they will bring helicopter machines, and they will clean us. Look at what is happening in the East.
Okay.
And we have gone through hell in this Nigeria. It is time for us to start, looking for plan B.
My brother, I have to take, I think, 9 minutes now. Let me give others a chance to. Thank you very much for your contribution. Yeah. Thank you. Looking at the comments here, I see a comment by John Okule said, "Did Ganduje resign?" Again, John, you're coming and you're reaffirming my position on leadership, because actually there is a law against commingling of fund or embezzlement of fund, but Ganduje resigning is a clear case of failure of leadership. So who am I speaking to from Spain?
Hello, yeah, Max is okay.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening. Can you make your contribution very snappy, maybe 1 minute, so that we don't take too much time? You're welcome. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Arinze from
Okay, Arinze, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. My contribution is, I just want to let the Igbos to know that we don't belong to that country called Nigeria. So the best thing we have to do is for everybody to arm themselves and wait for the worst to come, because it must come. I don't see myself as a Nigerian, and we will never be Nigerian. Never. So I'm advising all the Igbos to pick up arms and wait for the worst to come, because it must come.
Thank you very much for your contribution. One man went to the mall is saying that the problem is there is no such thing as Nigeria, and there has never been. You don't have the same faith as the Jews. Your problem are peculiar to you. On it, in reference and his reply to Matthew. So you can see. I think there was a comment that before the last caller, there was a comment that I actually found a little bit interesting. I think that's by DK James. And before I take that comment, would I implore you kindly to share this video, and because when you share the video, others can join us in watching this conversation this evening. And I'm aware that tomorrow is public holiday, or as a bank holiday, they call it of Europe. So many of you, and if not majority of you, are not going to work like myself. So we can relax. It's another Saturday. So it doesn't matter, those of us who are not working tomorrow, we can enjoy it. So kindly please subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and like this video, and just give the video a thumbs up. That's all. And I know so many of you also, the super chats in today's conversation. I haven't seen any super chat actually, or did I miss anyone? So let me get back to the DK Benjamin. Benjamin says, let me put it on the screen actually. Most Igbos in Abuja dress up in northern attire. I ran into a man in Abuja who looked like an Hausa man, but he has an Igbo name. My brother, that is a survival tactics. And he continues, Igbo men hide their identity once they go to Abuja just to belong and be approved by a Fulani or Hausa man. You're talking about an Igbo businessman. If a businessman, I see honestly that survives adapting to your environment. I see no issue there. Where I actually have issues is those that ought to be your leaders. Um, During the time of Aziki, where you can see them probably wear konkosa and dilute it with ubunzenoza, which is the red cap, and but sometimes the ones that I can see now even wear the danchiki with all inclusive. I'm like, wow, is that how assimilation has happened to us, that we are no longer proud of our heritage? But I thank God that there are still few people who are there and who, are still in the forefront of in the making of the Igbo identity, which will not die. Okay, so that's my contribution to that comment by DK Benjamin. Wow, DK Benjamin, that's a super chat. Thank you very much. Is a fair character lifting some weight, saying keep it up. Thank you, DK Benjamin. You, in Nigerian parlance, they say you are doing well. Chima Chima, clothes don't matter. No, it does. Chima Chima, clothes don't matter. No, it does. Sometimes is an identity of a people, but not, socially, it doesn't matter, my son calls them costume, meaning you can be in a particular costume to behave in certain ways, but it doesn't, maybe without considering, sometimes could influence the way you think or act. Okay. Now, if you say clothing don't matter, can you please tell me whom among the other side you've seen wear your Isiagu? Just name one, apart from when they come for campaign in your region. We are a very adaptive people. I remember while I was a staff of Nigerian Television Authority as of 1999, when there was this OPC crisis, then I wasn't entirely conscious of my Igbo-ness. I must concede, I must accept. And having left the island, the office then, NTA then was Amadu Bello Way in the Victoria Island. So having left island, gone past Bonny Camp, now coming to mainland, gone past Orile Igomu, heading towards Maitu, there was this conflict between the Hausas and the Yorubas. Wallahi, I saw people. The moment you are dressed or they consider you a northerner, wallahi, OPC people were hacking people too. In, Molue, they were just peeping in any Molue, do this. And incidentally, it was on a Friday, normally because Friday is dressed down, so you can wear anything. For me, at that point, it meant nothing. So I wore this blue abada with no, blue kaftan, not abada per se, blue kaftan with this design, and on getting there. But what saved me was, we already, people coming from Suralaba to Orile already were shouting, OPC there, they kill us, blah, blah, blah. Boy, now I look at myself, I remove my cap. I dey inside bus there. Now I remove my kaftan, folded it and sat on top of it. Thank God I was only wearing singlet. So, and when they looked into the vehicle, boy, I nearly shit because you see the machete. So you can imagine, just by dressing in certain ways, yes, it can give you open doors, yet it can also kill you. Because I can't forget that incident in Nigeria, 1999. 1999. Wow. 1999. What a time. So, it's in the final analysis, people, is neither here nor there. Do you understand? It's neither here nor there. Because what we even consider the Igbo, now pure Igbo, because if you look at Abreba, for instance, Abreba ties this George, which is for the the Igbo mainland. If you talk about Anambra or Enugu, is not entirely, the kind of thing that they wear in that way. Our people in Anambra, we use those George only for Era Aqua when you do burial. But the way they do it with the big other rope and the other one, and a Kenugu, is nothing. But over time, it's begun to assimilate and go round that people begin to accept it. Many people don't know that what you call senator today, the normal senator that we wear, that is the same material for your down and up that makes it sharp, is actually a a extended version of Ijo clothing. If you look at Goodluck Jonathan, for instance, so Ijo has, when they has their piece, it flows back, it floats front and back. The same way Ohofia have their long, it flows back. And so over time, people think, oh, man, these things can be very heavy now. Can we shorten it, make it a little bit smarter? Something people can use and go to the office. See, from Ijo, it became, something that you come to the Senate today. It doesn't matter Yoruba, Hausa, Igbos, Efik, Ibibio, everyone is become because when you put it on, the cap can now define what you want to portray. Because if you put it on now and have a red cap, everybody sees you, like Senator Nyabaribe, that always have, his own version, because you have short sleeves, and with it, sometimes you can put that handkerchief there or whatever. Your cap defines you. But if you look at someone like Saraki wearing the same thing again, he puts on a cap, it defines him. You look at this one, Kazaure, the one that said Nigeria economy is going lungu lungu, up and down, up and down. If he wears if he wears the same thing, but on a lighter note, imagine where Ganduje wears the same thing. there will be trouble because there will be no place to fit something. There will be no place to fit something, because the other one, if you put open, if it fit something. Oh dear, I'm enjoying this conversation. Let me take a comment and call it a day. How is Panama Cup an African culture? Good question. The thing is also the red cap that we even fight. Where is my red cap? Okay, man, I can't even. Sometimes I look at my red cap, I say, well, I might have to dig deeper to see. I know that the red cap, before the white man came, we had the Nzenozo. We had, because Nzenozo is not the same thing as chief. No, but I think the British actually, with that's initially a Moroccan thing, or rather, it was done with us in Morocco, with a long and with something coming down to differentiate what they call the warrant chiefs, those that they have empowered on their behalf, which we eventually turned into the Igbo and the rest is history. So if you look at it in its entirety, it's also not, the red cap is also not our culture. But one thing that no one has been able to explain to me is what was our ancestors using before the white man introduced that red cap as a means of differentiating those that he is using to administer his entity. So Chima, again, you make some sense. You're making sense here. The Panama cap is not it's not an African culture, or rather, you're questioning if. Now, you see, that's why I don't want to get sometimes too involved in this conversation, because now Diri Albert is saying, Chima, I guess we should go back and be naked, wearing a bracelet and anklets. Now, because when you get too much emotion, or when you get too emotional in the attachment of what defines your cultural attires, you find out that over the years, assimilation happened just the same way I've explained to what we now call senators. Because I remember in 2004-5, what Amechi used to wear, or what they call the Kwere wear, which is slightly close to Ohofie again, Ohofie and Abriba wears, where at the front here, sometimes you have those like necklace, 1, 2, 3. Then the other one goes into the pocket and they are dangling. It's Ikwere. But it's somewhat assimilated by the core Igbos, with the jumping here, it's been assimilated by the core Igbos. We have to be very careful. Though the one I no matter how you look at the one I detest, it's cultural suicide is when you're getting married and you're saying you're doing traditional marriage and you're dressed in another person's attire. I think that is cuckoo. I can't imagine why anybody would do that anyway. If I so much like lace or anything, I could use lace to sew anything that I want. Anyway, I'll take one or two comments more. Then, yes, Henry Barr says we evolve, and I agree. We evolve. We evolve and only go far back with culture. Yes, and Emmanuel says I read about a spoken red cap as described by Key in 1885, Mr. Gregor led in 1881, and also had this red cap description, ethnologists. I wish I had a better and a deeper understanding of what you just wrote, but Mm. Benjamin DK Benjamin said, I honestly didn't know there are Igbo people in Calabar. Of course, there are on the fringes, on the border fringes. We have Igbos in Calabars, even especially in Abia State, actually. And then, yes, of course, we do. White trade. Just kidding. Okay. Okay, people. I grew up in Bonny Island. Many Karabari and Dijo people dress traditionally like Igbos. Mm-mm. You see, let's not drag this thing because if you actually go back to pictorials, the Igbo way of dressing is what we call mbokwa. When you use the George this thing tied like a rope, like this. This is the front pouch covering your organadike. This and the other one is covering the backside, the otwa. That's it. And they will have ordering to wipe and take away mosquitoes and flies. So again, the point here this evening is we evolve. We have some of us evolved to a point where we can now look at other things and maybe claim them over time. Like look at the attire, blah blah blah. You know, we've copied a lot, and they've copied from us as well. Hmm? We copy. I mean, we are very very close. We are very very close. I'm working on to do some cultural interviews where people will come here. We have there is one man, one professor. I think he contested the Hanese presidency. You know, I want to have him here. The man is loaded. I want to dive deeper with him. His understanding of science and DBAism. When I speak with him on the telephone, the things he said to me, I said to him, Prof, I cannot digest all these things. I want people to help me listen to you and to digest what is loaded in your brain that you have to offer humanity. On that note, I will say thank you very, very much for joining me. It's now after 12 here in Nigeria. And happy Easter month. So I know reason why we've dragged this a little bit and done justice to the topic this evening is as a result of the fact that tomorrow is a bank holiday or public holiday, as the case as the case may be. And many of you who have joined me, and many of you who haven't subscribed to this platform, please, I will say, as our Easter gift, can you kindly subscribe to this platform? And can you also like this video? I will wait here and see how many likes we're going to get because I can see only 8 people out of over 300 watching on various social media. Okay, on Facebook and on YouTube. Okay, so I'm waiting. Okay, Benjamin said, "Thank you, Mazi. We'll be waiting tomorrow." No, I'm not. I'm. Not, I can't. I can't. What do I have tomorrow? No. I don't have any. Not that I can remember. Actually, I'm gonna get on one for next week. You know, the Buhari's regime is building these rail. They're building the standard gauge is everywhere, but the Port Harcourt, that is what they call the Eastern Rail, is going to be on the narrow gauge. So it's going to be from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri. Now, the concern that we have is what is good for ganja should also, or rather, what is good for chicken should also be good for the dog. So we should also get the standard rail that was built everywhere. Mazi, your like button is indicating how many likes you have. Yes, I can see that. But not enough now. Over close to 300 people watching, and you only have 48 people liking the video. They are watching. Una go stingy, rich to even just do pangam. Now so una go stingy rich. To do pangam, you go hard you. It is the pangam the other. Oh dear. Hmm? So Jacob B, have you done it? Hit the like button, please, guys. Yeah, Ken Riba is saying it. Hit the like button and share it. Maz is still on topic. No, I'm not going to stay on topic. Poke. Which kind name be this one, sir? Now, plus, now they to finish now, na yabago. So, which kind name be that one? Poke. Be like na Chinese name, sir. From say na poke. Waiting. uh, Abraham 246. You can make him 49. Oh, some of you are cracking me up. I think I'm liking this. Anyway, tomorrow, where would they go? Some of you still there lockdown. So if you move, your government will move you. So you have no option. We are stuck here. Hopefully, we're going to meet tomorrow. Let me see, depending on what's happening. So once more on the on my conclusion, thank you very much for all all the comments and all the like. Once more, I will say, may the soul of my brother, a gallant soldier, a journalist, Yinka Odumakin, may your soul rest in peace. And may the souls of all our brothers and sisters that died in Ebony State, that were killed needlessly, they were killed without any crime. Their crime is that state, the government, failed to protect them. And may we pray and work towards that every single person involved in that senseless and needless killing be apprehended and brought to justice. On that note, I will say once more, thank you very much for joining me this evening. Remain blessed.